Hi there, everybody. I hope everything's coming on well with you. And I was waiting for that because I knew the light was going to go on. I almost said something about it. Oh, well, I don't know what that is because it's not my light. So I don't know what the camera is doing. Anyway, so if some of you are wondering about that, if maybe you have an idea because I sure don't. Anyway, ignoring that whole detail, I hope everybody's doing well today. And you're coming along fine. If you believe that we're halfway through July, which is halfway through the summer, I've already seen some things about back to school ads and donations for back to school goods for its stores and things like that. And it's like, wait a minute, we're not even halfway through July yet, starting to look for back to school. It's like, your kids are probably, if you have children, they're probably upset about that. And you're probably looking forward to the end of it so you can send them back to school. But that's just the way the world works, right? Okay. I've got a quote today about making decisions. And so my question for you, I guess, is to say, do you like making decisions? Now, I don't know a lot of people who really like making a lot of decisions. I think all of us at some point in time tend to feel as if we've got too many decisions to make. And so we postpone or procrastinate doing that. But there are people who just don't want to make any decisions at all. And so I've got a quote today from a journalist, actually, that basically says, pick up the card here. A man who procrastinates in his choosing will inevitably have his choices made for him. Now, what does that have to do about decisions? In a sense, it's the idea that when you put off making decisions about something, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? What do you want to do when you grow up, kind of thing? And you don't make those decisions, sooner or later, as Hunter Thompson said, somebody's going to make it for you. And to connect that, I want to ask you, how many times have you basically said something to the effect of, life doesn't go the way I want it to. Things never go the way I want them to. So I'd like you to think in terms of putting those two concepts together, is how many times does life not go your way because you're not making a decision about what you want to do? So that if you're having to decide, even something simple like where do we go for dinner, and you get that, that little conflict, well, where do you want to go? 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 And, just somewhat make a decision. If you don't indicate where you'd like to go, somebody else is going to make that choice for you, right? Now, in some cases, maybe you want them to make that choice, but do you want people to make choices for you all the time? Maybe you don't want to make a choice because you're afraid somebody's not going to like you, or you're going to make the wrong choice, or you're going to mess up. You're always going to make a wrong choice. Well, let me back that up. Sooner or later, during the course of your life, some of your choices are going to be wrong. There's no way you're going to be able to be 100% correct on all the choices you ever make. So sometimes you're going to be wrong. Sometimes you're going to be right. In many cases, it really doesn't matter. If you want to, pick certain things, it's going to be whatever it is you want to do. To a great degree, you make those choices and you follow through on those choices depending on the choices you make. So let's just say you want a full-fledged dinner as opposed to takeout. So that deciding that you're going to go to a full-fledged dinner, a sit-down dinner with knives and forks, as opposed to, say, like a hamburger or something like that, you're going to do certain things that are going to be different. You're going to make different choices, which are going to trigger different behaviors, which are going to lead you in a different direction than if you decided to go to some place for just a hamburger and ate in a car. So that when you're making those choices, they have reverberations. They have, in a sense, consequences, if you will, that are going to dictate other consequences, and are going to dictate other choices, which are going to take you down a totally different path. Does that make sense? So that when you make a choice one way or another, if you decide you want to sleep an extra 5 minutes, or you just don't want to get out of bed in the morning, that extra 5 minutes that you stay in bed is going to dictate maybe how much you have to rush to get to work on time. Getting up 10 minutes early may say you've got a little bit more time to do some things. So that's going to reverberate for the rest of your day, will it not? I mean, how many times have you gotten up late and you were running late, and then the whole day seemed to be that you were trying to play catch up? Whereas if you get up and do something, relatively slow, and you've got the time to do whatever you need, and you've got that calmer beginning to your day, the rest of your day tends to be calm, right? So in a sense, when you're not making a choice and you're letting other circumstances make those choices, you are essentially never going to have the world and the life that you want, because you're never making those choices to get that. Sooner or later, if you want certain things, you're going to have to make those choices to get those choices. You're going to have to decide, if you will, that you're going to make those choices because that's what you want, as opposed to doing what somebody else wants. This may not be easy at first because you've got people that have been taught essentially by you that you allow other people to make your choices. They may be surprised, they may come down on you, but sooner or later, if you want your life, you're going to have to make the choices the way you want it to go. Does this make sense? How many of you know somebody that you recognize does not make choices? And what do you think of that person? How many of you think in terms of somebody else who makes choices all the time, and maybe you say something to the effect of, I wish I could be like so-and-so? I don't know that many of you want to be like the person who always has to have somebody make their choices. Maybe you do, but I would suspect that most people don't. They would rather be like the person who basically seems to be in charge and makes the decisions all the time. So why, in a sense, don't you make a decision, make a choice to start doing that and behaving like that? Because once you become in control of your own decisions, you become control of your own life. And sooner or later, you'll get to where you want to go, or you'll find out where you want to go. Because maybe where you think you want to go, you're not going to want to. And the only way to find that out is to try it and do it, and then discover you didn't. Say, okay, I learned about it and I don't want to do it, so I'll try something else. Just because you get there, discover you don't want it, that doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything negative about you. It just means you didn't have enough information to make that choice. You got in there, you discovered you didn't like it, you can make another choice. So if you procrastinate on your decisions because you don't want to make them because you're afraid of the outcome, just start doing it. Does that make sense? Because then you become in control of your life. You don't want anybody else to control you. You want to control you. So that means you need to start making decisions. I hope this makes choice. I hope this makes sense. I hope you can appreciate it and get something out of what I said. Maybe you know somebody who can appreciate it because they don't make choices. Please share it. Let me know what you think about it and see if this made any sense to you and if it was helpful, because I really would appreciate you letting me know. So let's just say, have a good week. See how many decisions you make or don't make this week. It would be nice if you let me know if you make any changes and see what happens. I wonder how many people would be surprised if you started making choices and making your own decisions. And we'll see you again next week. So bye.